What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here tonight with a review for Marriage Bootcamp Hip-Hop Edition. This is season 15, and it is episode number 5, which is titled Hard Shock Life, you guys. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me, my bad, y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into this episode review, shall we? All right, you guys. So the episode opens up and it picks up, kind of where we left off last week with Birdie E, Toucan Sam, Miss Fowl, Nasal He, Nostradamus, Hoozle E, and Devon. So they're still into it with each other, dealing with the issues from the night before. So the one thing that I do want to say when it comes to, Birdie E, Toucan Sam, Miss Fowl, Nasal He, Nostradamus, Hoozle E, is I want her to stop using the word cloud. I feel like anytime that she used the word cloud, they should find that ass. Like, I really feel like they should find the shit out of her for saying clout. God, girl, if you don't stop saying cloud. Like, I would do a drinking game, but by the end of the night, I would probably have alcohol poisoning for her saying cloud. So, we find out, which I knew this whole time, that Hazel, damn, I just called her by name, but I knew she was pregnant. Like, look at her stomach. No shade to her, but I just like, she's pregnant. So she took a pregnancy test. It came back positive, but she's spotting as well. I'm like, oh shit, did she have a miscarriage? Which I had heard that she had a miscarriage, but if she had a miscarriage, that would mean she had got pregnant soon after with this baby that she just had. And we'll talk about them a little bit later. So, Dr. Ish and producers sent, Birdie E, Toucan Sam, Miss Fowl, Nostradamus, Nasal He, Hoozle E to the doctor to get checked out. And the others, they're going to do, the drill. So they're locked in their rooms and there's a blindfold on the floor. So the objective of this was for them to work together and just to show their lack thereof communication in their relationship. So it seems like everybody took it seriously with the exception of Phaedra. So the objective was and I haven't got to that part yet, but the objective was for one person to wear the blindfold and the other person would kind of, direct them to the clues that they had to get to the pin pad that was on the door so that they could unlock the door. So, let me think. Okay, so in Tahiri and Vado's room, Tahiri was the one that was blindfolded first. So she got to the first clue, and then they had to switch. So once they got to one clue, she had to switch, and then I think Vado went the rest of the way to get them out of the door. And then with Willie and Shonda was the first one, blindfolded. And then once they had to switch, it was Willie that, ran the rest of the thing. Speaking of Willie and Shonda, there was a question that was asked of them. There was a question that was asked, how many women has Willie had an affair with? And I was really thinking, I didn't think he was going to answer that question. And if he did answer the question, I was really honestly expecting for Willie to lie. But Willie said 12 women, and Shonda got mad. I'm like, God damn, 12 women? And Shonda had to have known, I'm sorry. He's cheated. I don't even really understand why the number, shocked her as much as it did. Because like I just said, he's cheated on you since you guys have been married. And how many years have you guys been married? So yeah, sounds about right. Is it right? No. So like I said, now over in the room with Medina and Phaedra took a nap, and Medina is trying to figure this out on his own. I'm just like, that is ridiculous. That is the problem with your relationship now. It feels like with Phaedra and Medina, it doesn't feel that way. She doesn't take him seriously. And then over in Corrupt and Tony's room, hell, they couldn't even figure out at first who was gonna go first. But I think the first person that went was Corrupt, and then Tony finished it. So yeah, and like I said, the other couple, Birdie and her son, they were at the hospital. So I think I got all the couples. I talked about Vado and Tahiri. I talked about Vado and Tahiri, Medina and Phaedra, Willie and Shonda, and who else? Who am I missing? Damn, who the fuck? Oh, Corrupt and Tony. How did I forget about those two? But yeah, so now the first couple out of the room was Shonda and Willie. How that happened, I don't know. Then the second couple that came out of the room was Tahiri and Vado. And when Tahiri and Vado came out the room, they noticed that there was a little bit of tension between Willie and Shonda. So Tahiri asked what was going on, and she said, that dumbass question, and then his dumbass answer. And I'm gonna get into Willie and Shonda in just a little bit. I'm gonna get there. Because I can understand why she's mad, but then at the same time, I don't understand why she's mad. Like, you knew that he's cheated on you in the past. So I don't understand why the number was so significant. I still don't understand that, but we'll get to that point. So it was Willie and Sean, then it was Vado and Tahiri, then it was Corrupt and Tony, followed by, no. Weirdly enough, it was Medina and Phaedra that followed, and then it was Corrupt and Tony who was last, which that was odd to me. Because if you honestly looked at Phaedra and Medina, there was no communication there. He figured everything out on his own, because and the reason why he figured everything out on his own is because he just wandered around the room and found, and basically found the clues. Beyonce. Whoa. A premiere of, oh no, I'm in the middle of this video. You guys, I'm finna get through this shit because there is a premiere from Beyonce. Oh shit. Okay, we finna run through this. I'm pretty sure this video is gonna be short as fuck, but let's move on. All right, you guys, so like I said before, Willie and Shonda, so, they had the attitude, they had the problem with each other after this whole drill was over with. So Willie ended up leaving and going back to their room. And Dr. Ish went in the room and talked to Willie. He's like, I see that you're mad, so what's going on? And, Willie doesn't understand. Willie really don't know. He's kind of clueless, to be quite honest with you guys. So Dr. Ish kind of broke it down to Willie. And I like the way Dr. Ish broke it down to him, because he says the issue with Shonda is the fact that, I don't think the number itself was significant. I think it's the fact of why did it happen and how does she stop it from happening again? So I'm like, that makes sense. It really does. Why did it happen? And then, Willie says, well, there's disrespect on both sides. And I get it. You don't want to be in a marriage where there's disrespect from, one or both partners. But then the issue comes is, why don't you guys sit down and effectively have which is the whole thing with this exercise. Communication. Why don't you guys, if you guys feel some type of way about something, sit down, have an open dialogue about it and discuss it. Don't let it sit and fester and grow and grow and grow. Because if at a certain point it's gonna grow, and then it'll just pop. That's sad. And I know I'm younger than most of these people on this show. And I'm not even married, but I know this kind of shit. Like, it's just communication, basically. So then, Shonda comes into the room and they talk about it. He starts to cry again, talking about his daughter. I'm like, that's what it takes for you to realize that you're doing your wife wrong, is your daughter. That's sad in itself, but whatever. But, I think Will and Shonda will be good once they admit that they're in an open relationship. Because that's really what it is. Y'all in an open marriage. So then we also find out that Birdie E, like I said before, had been saying she was pregnant at the time of this filming. I knew she was. When Dr. Ish said she might have been pregnant with twins, I'm like, oh God, twins. That's a lot of load to carry. The issue that I have when it comes to those two is, she is delusional as fuck, and he is young and he's young and volatile and angry, and you guys need to figure out what the issues are in your relationship before you can even try to add a baby to the situation. And I also think that she's just desperate for love. I really think that's what it is with Toucan Sam. I really think that's what it is with Birdie E, Toucan Sam, Miss Fowl, Nasal He, Nostradamus, Hoozle E. Like, I think that's the issue with her. She just wants to be loved. And that's sad. Let's move on. All right, you guys. Now, here's where things start to get interesting in the episode. So, the boot campers, they meet Dr. Ish in the boot camp room, and he has a gift for them all. So they open up, their gifts, and it's a bracelet. And they're like, damn, this is a funny looking ass bracelet. And he tells them what it is. It's a shock bracelet. So what he does is he calls each person up individually. And, he shows them a card. So the object is, if their partner exhibits any of the traits that are on this card, shock their ass. So, I didn't get all of them down. So, we're just gonna go based off of what I can remember basically. So Tahiri and Vado, hers was if she, I know she rolled her eyes, if she yelled at him, and I think if she ignored him or something, or she got quiet, ignored him or talked over him, some shit like that. Hers for him was him yelling, those two, I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot what, those two were the ones that just stood out, because when they went, they all cooked as a family basically in the house, and they went out to eat. So she was talking to him. Oh, his was not letting, one of hers for him was not letting her get her thoughts out. So she shocked him, then he shocked her back. She thought that he was shocking her in retaliation to her shocking him, but actually he wasn't. He was shocking you because of one of the, because I know she rolled her eyes and something else. She rolled her eyes, and I think I can't remember, but I know she rolled her eyes at him one time. So yeah, like I said, she thought that he was doing it to get back at her. Because that was actually the most that we saw those two shocking each other. We did see Willie and Shonda shock each other. Actually, Shonda shocked Willie because one of his was making faces, shutting down, and avoiding questions basically. And hers was, talking to him in a condescending tone. And I forgot. I should have wrote this. I probably should have wrote it all down, but I didn't. But yeah, so that's really what we saw. We mostly saw those two. We did see some from Hazel and Devon. His was temper, staying quiet, and something else. And hers was laughing, to not answer, to avoid kind of avoid some situations. So she didn't get shot because of her pregnancy. So he had a water gun that he would squirt her with it. But the bulk of this exercise, we only really saw Vado and Tahiri. Phaedra tries down her best behavior so that way that Medina didn't shock her. And Tony and Corrupt didn't see very much of those two. So seems like Tony and Corrupt were on their best behavior as well. Now let's talk about Corrupt real quick, because I actually forgot to mention this. Oh fuck! There we go. So yeah, let's talk about Corrupt. So you guys, I actually forgot to mention this. When they were in the boot camp room earlier for the first drill, I'm starting to see what Tony means when it comes down to when it comes to Corrupt being sober. He is a completely different person, because Corrupt gave what's her name, Shonda, some good advice. He told Shonda that the ball was, when it came down to Willie and her, that at that point the ball was in her court, and that she needed to go in there and talk to her man. And I'm like, wow. So Tony was telling the truth. Like, there is a different side. There is a different side to Corrupt when he's not belligerently drunk. Like, very interesting to see. So let's get back to this exercise. Tony and Devon, they were outside talking to Votto about his situation with Tahiri. And Tony and Devon was telling him, like, sometimes no response is the best response. Like, if you give her sometimes giving a reaction can actually be sometimes not giving a reaction can actually be a reaction in itself, which I can agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Sometimes you might think that you're, by not giving a person a reaction that they want, you're not doing anything wrong, but you could be doing something wrong. So I understood what they were coming from. So at one point, Tahiri took that bracelet off because she, like I said, she thought that Votto was doing it with ill intent because she felt like just because she was shocking him, he was coming back and shocking her in retaliation, which she really wasn't, to be honest with you. So then Dr. Ish calls them all once again to the boot camp room. So this is where he reveals to the couples what was on the cards. So he first started with Willie and Shonda, and he told Shonda, like, he was really going easy on you because he could have shot you more times than what he did. And she was like, she was like, well, why is that? And Dr. Ish was like, well, he's protecting you. And she's like, that's one of the issues. Don't protect me. Like, tell me what's up. And then he moved over to Phaedra and Medina. He asked her why didn't she participate in the drill earlier. She comes up with she actually said that they did participate. I'm like, girl, you didn't participate. And then she was like, oh, I was tired and I needed my rest. I'm over Phaedra, to be quite honest with you guys. I have to be honest with you guys. Honestly, Phaedra came on this show just for a check. Like, let's keep it 100% real. She's only on here for a check. So then we move over to Votto and Tahiri. Now, I hadn't mentioned that when they were in the house, they went back in the house, Tahiri threw some apples at him and told him to make applesauce. So Dr. Ish was asking Tahiri, did she figure out, actually he asked both of them, did they figure out what each other's words were? She said she felt like Votto was enticing her to be the Tahiri that she doesn't want to be. And then out of nowhere, he jumped up and choked the hell out of her. And I was like, damn. I mean, I get it that she hit you with a hard ass apple, but it did not warrant that response. Like, if you felt like you were gonna get to that point where you want to put your hands on her, get up and walk out the room. Do I agree with Tahiri throwing those apples at him? I don't. But I also do not agree with his reaction. So it is really to be continuing. It'll continue to next week's episode, you guys. So that is going to do it for this episode of Marriage Bootcamp. So how things are going to flow for the next videos. The week's hottest topics will be up tomorrow morning. I'm going to film it in just a minute. And then also I am going to be doing my reaction to Black is King. I think it comes on at 3 a.m. in the morning. Oh God, Beyonce, you better be glad that I love you. You're lucky that I love you, because normally I'm asleep at 3 a.m. And that is going to be it. And then Love After Lockup, I know that that'll be up. I just don't know if it'll be up tomorrow or if it's going to be up on Saturday, because I am actually going home for a funeral. One of my cousins passed away, so I'm going home to view the body and to go to the funeral. So Love After Lockup will be up. I just don't know when that'll be up. But you guys, until the next one, do me a solid favor, you guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Also, stay hydrated. And until the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.